Today is January 5th, 2015. I'm here again with Melissa Harris. Hi Melissa, thank you for coming back.
Hi, thank you for having me. This is Melissa Harris from Weathersfield, Connecticut, and I'm here to talk to you about my 3-year-old and my 14-year-old daughter, which DCF and the family courts have been involved with due to the false statements of the gal, which the ad litem, my youngest daughter's father's attorney from family court, which now he's not doing it in the family court. It's a different attorney, Roger Chiffin, that's representing my daughter's father in New Britain family court for the juvenile case, which Roger Chiffin is also the attorney for one of my witnesses, and the other attorney, Steve Varga, who's the ad litem's attorney, is also the attorney that's representing another one of my witnesses. Attorney James Lux is my older daughter's public defender that was representing my older daughter for DCF false case in the past, which now he's, not only does my 3-year-old have Chris Oakley as a gal, but my 3-year-old has James Lux as an attorney representing her, but he's also the attorney for my daughter's friend, who is also a witness to some of the things that my youngest daughter has said, and she's also witnessed some of the stuff with my daughter's father.
So there's a conflict, sort of, you're
There's
saying?
definitely a conflict of interest. And this is all the New Britain the New Britain court, 20 Franklin Square in New Britain, Connecticut.
Is that the family court or the juvenile court
It's
for
the
DCF?
juvenile court for DCF. Everything got put on hold at the family court in Hartford and was transferred over to the juvenile court
And who
in
is
DCF.
who is the presiding judge there?
For the family court,
Juvenile.
the juvenile case right now is with Avery Whetstone,
Okay.
which I had just found out recently. The family court judge, Judge O'Lear, who has denied everything, overlooked evidence from the start. I heard that she's now with the juvenile court. She's not on the case, but it's kind of ironic how Attorney Sullivan constantly asked for Judge O'Lear. Judge O'Lear, every time I got a different judge appointed to the case, every other judge was taken off the case except for Bizzuto, and Attorney Sullivan nonstop had asked for Judge O'Lear. And
So Judge Sullivan, or
Attorney Sullivan.
Attorney Sullivan is your...
My daughter, the attorney that was representing my youngest daughter's father in
Okay.
family court. And he's the one that showed up at the hallway of court the day that Chris Oakley had filed the false OTC order. And the reason why I say it's false OTC order is because you put numerous false statements in there knowing that they were false.
And you have the documents to back that up?
I have documents and witnesses, as well as he has paperwork that I've provided with him in the past, and from day one he has overlooked everything, and he has non-stop written false stuff knowing it's false. And he's withheld evidence, as well as the public defender, which I call public pretender because that's Attorney Feinberg. He's the one representing me for the juvenile case. He has not done anything. He has withheld evidence. He's actually removed evidence from the case. He says he's going to do stuff, file motions, and he has not done anything. And if anything, he's made matters worse, because even back then I've asked for a restraining order, and he's overlooked everything, and he's also discriminated against me.
Now
he just put a motion in to withdraw from the case.
So you're without an attorney?
I am going to be without an attorney, which I actually tried to represent myself, and Avery Whetstone, that's the one who put the second gag order on me, told me I'm not allowed to represent myself, appointed me an ad litem for myself, and I told her I object to this, I don't want an ad litem. She said she's the judge, she put the order, and pretty much too bad. I said I wanted to represent my older daughter because Jaquanda Bentley is the DCF worker who filed 2 false petitions one on my younger daughter, my 3-year-old, and now my 14-year-old daughter testified against her, and she just filed a neglect petition on my older daughter, saying my older daughter's mental health, which my daughter's totally fine. She's happy, healthy, whatever. I also called the ombudsman office to try to remove her from the case. I've asked Feinberg to remove her. They refused to listen to me. Judge Avery Whetstone appointed my daughter an ad litem, regardless of what I said. Jessica Torres, the district attorney, non-stop put motions in against me, says I cannot represent myself. I asserted my civil rights. They said it doesn't matter. I actually just went to a DCF hearing for my younger one, and Christine Strickney is Jaquana Bentley supervisor for DCF. She has non-stop lied. She also made the comments that any call that came into the hotline for my younger daughter, or that comes in, they said that they find no concerns, doesn't matter what evidence I have, nothing is going to be open, no investigations were opened, they find no concerns with the father, and they're not going to do anything. They actually want my younger daughter to be placed back with them, even with everything, violation of court orders and all the evidence that I have, doesn't matter.
So, if somebody calls into the hotline that your youngest is being abused, they're not gonna look into it?
No, they said absolutely not. Actually, the police department made a call the day I went, the police department made a call the day I filed the police report. On one of the visits that I went to see my daughter, she had the black and blue finger marks and handprints. I filed a police report, the officer had made a call, and they never opened it. The officer spoke to DCF. First, when I went down there, he was very concerned, and his mouth pretty much dropped when I showed him the pictures. They said that, oh, we're going to take her to the hospital, we're going to do this, I'm going to contact DCF. Well, he contacted DCF, they went over there. Then he turned around, found no concerns. So his story changed once he talked to New Britain DCF again. No concerns, no nothing. My daughter's grandmother, who is the foster mother that they license, knowing she's hitting her, knowing that she's witnessed numerous things, they've overlooked this. I don't know, it's just crazy.
There's so much.
She lied,
to do
and she said that she
story.
grabbed my daughter and she was jumping up and down in the bed, but my daughter said that they hit her. And they refused to believe anything or anything. Like, my daughter, she's 3, she doesn't lie, nobody's coaching her, she's got a mind of her own, and they are just non-stop covering abuse, both sexual and child abuse.
And the judges are aware of this?
They're aware of everything.
Are?
They actually, Judge Romanel, at the trial that I went to, I want to say October, there were a couple of pictures of the injuries submitted, and she overlooked everything. And she was the first judge that put the gag order on me.
Now, you're going on your 3rd trial.
This is the 3rd trial. Actually, Southington Police Department, Karen Apicella is the detective on the case. She knew about everything. She actually lied under oath as well. She refused to do anything about the injuries. She said, oh, how do I know the injuries didn't happen in your house? I said, because I would take her to the doctors as soon as I got her back. I have the documentation. I actually have a letter way back from, I think it was from 2012 or 2013. The doctor wrote a letter stating that he felt, because of all the injuries, the father should have supervised visits. I actually went to court, filed for contempt, stood in front of Judge Allaire, and Judge Allaire overlooked this.
Now, you had said that, you're concerned about your oldest daughter.
Yes, because Jaquana Bentley, the same DCF worker that technically kidnapped my daughter on August 1st, just filed a false neglect petition on me for my older daughter with numerous false statements in it. I have
And you
witnesses,
can
I have
prove that?
documentation, everything, and she actually lied under oath as well, numerous times.
Now, you had mentioned that you had had a psych eval done,
I've had numerous psych evals.
and you had said you had gotten along great and with one of the doctors, but
Yeah, I
he was
actually-
never called as a witness, correct?
No, nor was I allowed to see the last evaluation. I handed the first evaluation to the public pretender, whatever, that's what he is, because he does not do anything, he doesn't, technically it's Surrey, which is supposed to be defending me, and he's not doing anything, he's withheld evidence. The first documentation that I had stated that my mental health, like, I didn't need medication, I was fine,
There was no concerns.
nothing. Actually, I was in therapy, and my therapist actually tried to call the gal, Chris Oakley, and he never returned her phone call as well. And then she went on back surgery, so she was out on medical leave. I actually went and found a different therapist to go to, and they refused to have her speak about me. And actually, she's the same one that I put my younger daughter in, who my daughter made comments to, and I guess they were playing Barbie dolls, and my daughter had pointed to the vaginal area and made sexual comments. I was not in the room, and that therapist had called DCF, and she actually testified on behalf of my younger one. Well, when they found out that that's who I went to and that's who had concerns, we were banned from the practice. We were no longer able to go there. And I find that very ironic how Jessica Torres and the district attorney know that my daughter's father's attorney, Sullivan, knows that, Oakley knows that, and now everybody, no concerns, no nothing, we're not allowed to go there anymore. And this is the therapist that found concerns and says that your daughter is not being coached. I'm concerned, that's why she made the report to DCF. She testified about that,
And they did nothing.
nothing. My daughter, actually, Karen Apicella and DCF had me take my daughter for a forensic interview at St. Francis Hospital, which is the same hospital that caused this nightmare to begin with back in 2012, that said there was no parasite infection, it was in my head, and I didn't have surgery at that hospital, which I did, and they refused to even look in the computer that day. They just locked me up in the whack ward and called DCF and took my kids. When I got out, I proved that they made a huge mistake. The health department was involved. They found 7 negligent charges on them for what they did. I still have more documentation and evidence verifying that they messed up. But anyways, that's the same hospital that did the forensic interview that my daughter went, and they told me I was not allowed to go in by myself, which I know I can because that's my constitutional rights and I'm her mother. I should have a right to go in there. They told me I'm not allowed to go in there. My daughter went in there by herself, made comments to the forensic interviewer. I don't remember her name, but her name, like Lindsay something. I was told afterwards that my daughter pointed to her private area and said that Daddy stick fingers in my butt. I don't know what else was said, but I mean, it was along the lines of that.
So DCF was aware of this?
DCF was actually in the room with my daughter watching this interview.
What workers were they? Do you know the names?
Jaquanda Bentley and Jeffrey Caltera or something. He was the investigator. He did not investigate nothing. Jaquanda Bentley lied. I originally signed my name for them to go in to do the interview, and then I actually, after I left the interview, I immediately wrote down that I revoked my signature pertaining to me and my daughter, and I sent it to DCF, and they're trying to say that they didn't receive it, which that's a bunch of BS. Gus Gestapo, he's the ombudsman. There's a guy, Kenneth, from the ombudsman office. They have nonstop slandered my name. They have discriminated against me. 1 minute, I was actually on first name basis with Gus, I don't remember his last name, but it was Gus G something. He was like, oh my God, this is very concerning. Your daughter should not be with the father, this and that. And then turned around after the district attorney or whoever got involved, he turned around and his story changed and no concerns, and it was nonstop discrimination, and They're not doing anything.
It seems like there's a lot of switching of stories, a lot of, just sweeping stuff under the rug.
Exactly. There was actually the DCF worker back in 2013 that came out. He found no concerns. He made false statements. He put reports in. I actually wrote a letter to the Ombudsman office talking about constitutional rights. He had lied. He knew about the contempt orders. He knew about the violations of the court orders. He found no concerns. I actually went to my daughter's father's house, the DCF worker, Dave Morotek from Southington, made the comment, how do I know you didn't pay your neighbors $1,000 cash to say what you want? I turned around to him and I said, is that what they paid you to find no concerns? Well, come to find out, Dave Morotek is from the same town as my daughter's father, which I didn't know this until afterwards, which I found his thing on Facebook. So, come to find out, he went to the same high school as my daughter's father and his family. And then the original DCF worker from 2012 that threatened me to sign papers, Jessica Ocasio, the one I filed a federal complaint on, I found out that some of her family members are friends with my ex. She found no concerns. She overlooked texts. She actually lied under oath as well. She knew about everything, and she just, no concerns, no nothing. And at the time, back in 2012, she knew about the injuries. She overlooked everything, and I was also breastfeeding my younger daughter.
It seemed, my concern is you don't have an attorney, really.
I have no attorney. I've tried legal aid. I've tried pro bonos. Nobody will touch the case. Nobody will help me. I've tried to call the attorneys that represented Justina Pelletier. Nobody will return my call. And like I said, nobody will touch this case.
And we did talk about this, and she is looking for an attorney that is willing to take on her case.
I know. I've been told nonstop from attorneys I have a good case. They said you're being railroaded by the system. They think it's racketeering. It's a RICO crime, but they don't want it's either out of their jurisdiction. They don't handle it. It's too messy. It's too complicated.
But I mean, you have all the evidence and such.
And the ones that would take the case, they want way too much money, and financially I'm drained. I have nothing. I don't have anything.
Right.
But in order for them to even look at it, they want like $20,000. I don't have that.
Right.
I'm a single mom and nothing. I was drained by attorneys that I did hire that didn't do anything and nothing.
If there is an attorney out there that is not afraid,
I would be grateful. I have so many by me trying to represent myself. I've done 3 years of studying. I have all the notes. I don't know how to file correctly. I have everything. They don't have to do anything. Just look over the notes. I have everything.
Everything, I know everything is organized. You have everything. And
I mean,
if there's an attorney out there that is willing to take on this case,
I would be grateful.
It would be excellent.
Because now they're going after, not only did they take my 3-year-old, and now they say no concerns with the father, they want him to have full custody of her, which he's already tried to eliminate me out of her life. When I did have her as primary residence, my daughter would come back saying, Mama died, Mama dead, Mama crazy. When the only thing I ever did was just try to protect her, because I got tired of seeing all the open sores, bruises, scratches, and her making comments, and she would come back from them. She would nonstop scream like bloody murder. She didn't want to go. I have pictures with dates on them.
I've seen
documentation, everything. And now Jaquanda Bentley is going after my older daughter. There was domestic violence and stuff with my older daughter's father, which separate father. DCF actually forced me to keep him away from her. Charged him with neglect, and he was extremely violent. I've had him arrested numerous times. And now Jaquanda Bentley went and tracked him down. My daughter already said she wants nothing to do with him, and they're trying to place my daughter with him.
Wow. I mean, from your last interview, from this one, I mean, we keep learning more, and there's more to come.
It's insane.
So.
But they're contradicting what they're saying, because they wanted him to stay out of her life.
And now they're
tracking him down, trying to force her to be with him after she said no. Like, this is... And Jaquana Bentley is a liar. She committed perjury and fraud, which, not just perjury and fraud, as in knowing the statements that she wrote were false. She also lied under oath, and by doing that, that is perjury and fraud. Like, I am going after every single one of them. I want every single one of them locked up in federal prison. This is not about money. This is about what they've done. They've destroyed both my kids' life. My daughter is being abused. My older daughter was threatened by my younger daughter's father as well, and they overlooked everything. I mean, this is crazy what's going on.
It is crazy, and
if my daughter's father didn't have a technically crooked attorney and ties on the system and his family have money, any other child, that person, that father would have been in handcuffs by now. That child would have been out of their care. Like, this is not right what's going on. I can't replace my kid, and I don't care about a gag order. Go ahead, stick as many as you want, because I'm going to keep speaking out. It's my constitutional right. My 14-year-old daughter, even back in 2012, has written by herself letters to the judges, letters to the attorneys, and the attorney actually, who was representing me in 2012, Melissa Osborne, withheld that from the court. Ben Irwin was the second one I hired for family court. He just went to court and put continuances in. I had enough evidence where technically the court orders that were filed, and I was threatened by Melissa Osborne to sign papers. When you're threatened, that technically is considered void. Those court orders are not valid. Everything is void. And they did nothing. They did not do anything to help me. I told them to file the motion to put void in, and did absolutely nothing. My daughter's had allergic reactions, and like I said, nothing. Everything was continued, and then when my daughter made comments about the sexual comments to one of my friends, and she called the police department, Wethersfield Police Department, Officer Mendez totally disacknowledged. He actually, no concern, no nothing. He was one of the cops that were involved in taking my younger daughter on August 1st. No court order was shown. And then he had the audacity to sit on the stand. No concern, no nothing. All these...
No concerns.
Back in, I think it was 2013, when my daughter returned from her father's care, one of the times her vaginal area was red, and she also had a handprint on her. I took her down to the police department as soon as she came down to me, and he says, "Oh, sorry, I can't tell what that is, bring her to Children's Hospital." He did nothing. Nothing at all. And then I find out, afterwards, Wethersfield Police Department is all about father's rights. Of course, no concerns. Like, it doesn't matter what concerns, nothing. Then I find out that Wethersfield Police Department also knows my daughter's father's attorney from family court, Attorney Sullivan. And for Southington Police Department, the Detective Karen Apicella turned around and told me that my daughter's grandmother admitted to, my daughter, I guess, supposedly ran out in the street, and the grandmother had hit her. And I said, I don't agree with anybody putting their hands on my child, especially, she was like 2 years old at the time.
And she wasn't in your care, she was with
no,
the grandmother.
No, she was with them. She was with the father and the grandmother at the time. And she said, well, that's discipline. I said, well, I live on a main road too, and I'm sorry, but I watch my child, and she doesn't run out on the main road, and if she did, I'd sit her down in timeout and tell her, no, that it's not safe.
But you watch your child.
I watch my child, I monitor her, every little thing, like, so she doesn't run out. So Detective Apicella turned around and sat on the stand and said she never said that. When I had my mother and somebody else sitting there next to me when I was on the phone with her. Then she turned around and said, I don't usually speak to attorneys because that's interfering with a criminal investigation. She said, but I actually spoke to your daughter's father's attorney for quite a while sometime, and then she found no concerns. And my daughter's father attorney, again, was Sullivan.
So, I mean, this is just a shipwreck. And you are a desperate mother in desperate need of an attorney.
Absolutely. One
And
that is
Not afraid.
not afraid of the system, not afraid of what's going on, and one that's going to represent me and defend me and protect my kids, like to present the evidence, because these judges look at the evidence, but most of the stuff that's been withheld because of the pretenders and all that stuff, they're still avoiding it, overlooking it, and then when I tell them I'm going to go public, they put gag orders on me.
So, I mean, I know there's more.
There's a lot more. Like,
And we will be catching up with you again. So, I'm going to end this by saying if there is anybody out there that is willing to take on Melissa's case,
pro bono, please, I'd be grateful.
please contact us at corruptct@gmail.com. In the subject line, put Melissa's story.
Wait for the kids. Like,
Yeah, and she would be very grateful. She has all of her documentation, and she has so much more.
and I'm still not allowed to take pictures on the visits of my little one, and she still is having black and blues on her, and she's begging me to come home, and DCF refuses to give me my child back, as well as the courts. It doesn't matter.
Or press charges. Or
They
look
won't do
into
anything.
any
They won't do anything.
No
But anybody else
investigations.
would have already been in handcuffs by now. And it's not like, this is not out of spite. This is about, I have evidence. I have everything, and it's being withheld and overlooked. And
They're beating you down.
tampered with, and witnesses were tampered with, and even actually Sullivan, for the case that Bizzuto took for the restraining order in 2012 that was she dropped, he talked to witnesses before they took the stand and sat in the courtroom, and then they took the stand after talking to him, and they sat in the courtroom the whole time. You can't do that. That's one, that's witness interference, and two, that's, you can't listen to a case and then call them as witnesses. That's witness tampering.
Well, Melissa, we're going to keep going with your story. I mean, we're going to end it for now. But again, thank you. And
You're welcome, Link.
you've been an inspiration for others.
I just hope others come forward, because unless people come forward, it's never going to stop. It's going to get worse. And the only thing the only thing the judges see and DCF sees is dollar signs. They do not care about the best interests of the kids. Children don't matter. It's how much they're making. They're dragging off these things, like the cases. They're taking, it's fraud on fraud with the courts. They're getting federal money, and they're not doing anything. It's dollar signs. That's it.
It has nothing to do with
Trafficking
family.
kids for profit,
Right.
and it's sickening.
It is. And I know you miss your daughter every single day.
And they're saying mental health. My mental health is, I have post-traumatic stress. I'm not on anything, haven't been on anything, and
And you hold up. I don't know how you do it,
I
but
don't
you
either.
do.
I honestly
I said that
don't
to you
either.
last time
I've
as
never
well.
snapped, and I just breathe.
You just keep going,
Breathe.
and you're always studying and always looking into
Have to.
things. And I mean,
Because
you
if
try
I
to stay
didn't know-
positive.
If I didn't know the stuff I know now, they would be walking all over me, and that's why I stand up for myself, because of the stuff I know now and I studied.
Knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
Especially when it comes to DCF and the family court system.
They're a bunch of liars, and they should be in prison right now. Like,
I don't know how they sleep at night.
because they're evil. They're pure evil. They don't care. It's sickening.
So again, if there's an attorney out there that's willing to take Melissa's case in Connecticut, if you can practice in Connecticut,
Even if you're out of state, as long as you could practice in Connecticut, I would be grateful. Please.
yes, please contact us at corruptct@gmail.com. Subject line, Melissa's story. And we'll be catching up with you, I'm sure, within the next week or so.
Yeah, and I have to go back to court actually, because the public defender, I have court on the 14th. He put a motion in to withdraw from the case, but he just didn't do anything anyways, and he's making matters worse for me. He's contributing to the abuse, and he's actually covering the abuse as well as he's discriminated against me.
So you're really in desperate need of an
Yeah,
attorney.
he said that you're allowed, civil rights don't matter, and you're allowed to have mental health used against you, and you're not. It's against federal statute and federal laws, and you can't use mental health. And my mental health is fine, like post-traumatic stress.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, I wonder why. It's legal abuse syndrome. Like,
Yeah, I mean, all the things that you've been through, absolutely. So Melissa, thank you very much. People are praying for you and your family. They will continue to. You have a lot of people on your side. People are reaching out, more mainstream media. And
It's a little nerve-wracking, but I have to do this.
And your children are very lucky to have a mother like you that is fighting as
And
hard as you are.
the crazy thing too is when DCF put my daughter's father on supervised visits, they knew he worked right next door at his family's business and was still seeing my daughter, or our daughter, every single day. His mother that was licensed, was allowing him to see her. And they knew this and they don't care.
I'm just hopeful that somebody reaches out to you to help. I know there's good attorneys out there that
I'm praying. I just hope in the end that all these attorneys that are on this case lose their license, as well as these judges get disrobed, because this is insane. They are covering child abuse, and it's insane.
And it's happening more and more and more.
Absolutely. I just pray other people come forward, because
yeah, not many people come forward with stories such as yours. So
it's like living a real life movie, and it's not. This is my life. This is legit.
It's a nightmare.
This is what's happening.
It's a living nightmare.
A nightmare that you cannot come out of.
Yes. So hopefully,
I hope one day I can turn this into a movie, because it's probably better than any movie that's ever been out, because this is insane.
Yes.
This is between a movie and a soap opera, and it's
and a nightmare.
Yeah, nightmare is not even the word, but
yeah, I know. You keep smiling, but there's so much pain behind that.
You have to.
I know there's attorneys in Connecticut that aren't afraid.
I just have to find one.
Yes, you definitely
Please.
need to. With court coming up on the 14th, January 14th.
And then there's another trial coming up, not only for my younger one, but now for my older one. So.
Well, we're gonna end this interview, and we'll be
Thank
hearing
you.
from you soon. Thank you very much, Melissa. It takes a lot to do what you do.
Thank you.
Thanks.